We about to go live. Yeah, we about to go live. Snax on Sports. Back with another little issue. I see my shit right here. I need a lineup. I need a haircut. You know what I'm saying? I'm real rough and rugged right now. It's all good. I get a haircut this weekend. Tats glistening. I got some old ass, faded ass tats. Snax on Sports. I'm back, man, with another one, another episode, man. And this one right here. Oh man. I hold this one dear to my heart, man. You know what I mean? The great GOAT, Tom Brady. Yeah, man. Tom Brady, man. So the GOAT has called it a career. You know what I'm saying? The GOAT has called it a career. The most storied, accomplished, winning, decorated career that probably any professional athlete, but I'll just stick with the NFL, that any NFL player has had. That goes to Tom Brady, man. I thought he would come back for one more year. You know what I'm saying? You know, for age 40, for his age 45 year, like he said, but not totally shocked. Kind of shocked, but not totally shocked. You know what I'm saying? I mean, look, what more did this man have to prove? I mean, he didn't have really nothing else to prove once he got his fourth ring, which is 3 rings ago. Once he got that fourth one and beat the Legion of Boom in the fashion that they beat them, I mean, really, gee, they ain't need to do nothing. I mean, I just say that because that Super Bowl in 2014, for that 2014 year, you know, was their first Super Bowl victory in 10 years. He got 3 quick, you know, early in his career, you know, 3 and 4 years. 01, 03, and 04. They went back to back 03 and 04. Then didn't win another Super Bowl until 2014. So there was a 10-year gap in between. Participated in 2 Super Bowls within that 10 years, but lost both to the Giants. Could have won both. You know what I mean? Some would say that, you know, he could have lost the other ones that he won. So all Tom Brady's Super Bowls have been close, except for his 7th victory, his 7th Super Bowl victory, which was last year against the Kansas City Chiefs as a member of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Every other Super Bowl that he's won has been decided by a field goal or less, or just it was decided by 1 score or some shit like that, or it was just close. But Tom Brady, with Tom Brady retiring, it is the end of an era. You know, when you talk about Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Phillip Rivers, Eli Manning, Ben Roethlisberger. You know what I'm saying? I would say the last one from that era that's left is uh, Aaron Rodgers. You know, the eras kind of overlap. a little bit. So, but I would say Aaron Rodgers is the last quarterback from he was drafted in what, 04, 04 or 05. Brady was drafted in 2000. Manning 98. Um, Ben Roethlisberger and Philip Rivers and Eli Manning all came out the same year. So, we talking 98 to 94, 98 to 2004, kind of like that era. Even though, like I said, Aaron Rodgers is even though the eras kind of overlapped, I would probably say maybe some might look at him as like a few years after that era, even though he was drafted in 04. Might have been 05. I'm sorry. But it was either 04 or 05. But even when drafted, he didn't immediately start. He sat for like 3-4 years. You know what I'm saying? So Aaron Rodgers' era didn't really start till like 08. You know what I'm saying? By that time, Tom Brady was already considered one of the greats of all time, along with Peyton Manning. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, Tom Brady's retirement marks the end of an era. You know what I mean? Shout out Ben Roethlisberger, who retired as well. But yeah, man, Tom Brady, you know what I mean? Called it quits last week. You know what I'm saying? I've been hearing a lot of the talks. I had a talk with my neighbor, with a couple friends, and I hear the talks on sports talk radio or sports media, whether it's ESPN or FS1 or CBS Sports or whatever, and they say how this was he made this decision for the family. You know what I'm saying? His wife, you know what I'm saying, gave him a ultimatum, or if not an ultimatum, he did this because because his he wanted to keep a happy wife, happy life. Check this out, man. I'm telling y'all right now, me as a musician, as a creative, as someone, and I put sports kind of with it's a different industry than like entertainment. Well, no, it is entertainment, but sports is a different industry than like creative arts. I would say, but but I still consider sports art in a way. So I say that to say anything that a man is passionate about, you know what I mean? From an art perspective, like, and it's something that you love and you've been doing your whole life. I'm gonna tell you right now, there's nobody that can take that away from that person, or nobody that can take that away. I'm telling you from experience. I'm a musician. There's nobody that can stop me from making music or creating art, except for me. Only other being is God. That's it. Not my wife, not my mom, not my kid, nothing. If that's what I want to do, that's what I'm going to do. Okay? Nobody else can stop that. So I say that to say it's the same with Tom Brady, because they say, oh, he had to, his wife had enough. Listen, Tom Brady retired because I'm not saying that his wife didn't have anything to do with it, or as far as like he's not considering his wife and his family's feelings and stuff like that, but it's something that he came to terms with himself, that he feel like he's okay with doing. He ain't retired because his wife wanted him to. No, fuck that. That's basically my point. If Tom Brady still wanted to play, he would be playing this upcoming season. It ain't got shit to do with his wife. Now, in saying that, I'm saying two things can be true. He can still, that could have still been, he could have still took that into consideration in his decision. You know what I mean? Like, y'all been putting it off for years now. And, you know what I mean? She been wanting me to retire for a while now and come home and be with the family and all that. So I'm not saying that that's not a part of the decision. But what I'm saying is that's not the reason why. He came to grips with this himself. This is something that Tom Brady is okay with doing. You don't have a passion or a love for something like football like he has. You know what I mean? And then when it's time to walk away from the game, you making that decision because somebody else wants you to. Nah, that's not the way it go. This is a decision that's being made because this is what he feels like it's the right time for him. You know what I mean? To walk away from the game. That's why he's retired. He's okay with making this decision now because even though that don't mean that there's not still something deep down with inside of him that kind of like still don't want to play. You know what I mean? But he's come to the conclusion and he's come to grips with the fact that okay, you know what, I can retire now and I'm cool with that decision. I don't feel like I would be leaving something out there, you know what I mean, on the table or there's like unfinished business. And I think winning that Super Bowl last year with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which was his seventh Super Bowl win, and winning it without Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots. I think once he won that, that was like the last real feat for him to accomplish. You know what I mean? Winning a Super Bowl without Bill Belichick. Once he did that, I feel like he was like, all right, it's just a matter of time now, whether it's next year or the year after that, or the next year or two, I can walk away from the game. I've done everything now. I've done everything. You know what I mean? He got all the records. If not all, he got most of the passing records. And um, yeah, I just feel like he felt like, man, with that victory right there, I whatever they gonna say, they gonna say now. I went to a whole nother. It's like some Jordan shit. Like when Jordan won 3 championships, retired for a year and a half, damn near 2 years, went to go play a whole nother sport because he said, "Man, look, this shit too easy. I can't even." They not. That's not even a challenge no more. 3 in a row. I mean, come on, man. And then came back and won 3 more in a row. Like y'all don't understand how legendary and how historic that type of shit is. That's why it just befuddles me, man, so much when these niggas talk about LeBron James is the greatest of all time. Miss me with that shit, nigga. You understand me? Miss me with that. LeBron James could never even dream about doing some shit like that, winning 3 championships, retiring, going to go play a whole different sport, nigga, and then coming back and winning 3 more. Fuck out of here, nigga. Fuck out of here. So when Tom Brady, at the age that he was, left the New England Patriots after winning 6 Super Bowls, and then went to a whole nother team and won a Super Bowl, and that team that he went to didn't make the playoffs the year before. They had the same roster. Basically, the only thing that changed was him coming to that team. They was 7-9 the year before, didn't make the playoffs. Same coach, same roster, same all that shit. And then the very year that he comes, you win a Super Bowl. Like, just stop it, bro. Like it's it's not even. It's like stop playing with this man, Tom Brady, bro. So, but I think once he did that, uh, once he got that one last year with the Bucks, I think he was kind of like, all right, he could have retired right there, but I'm sure he was like, nah, I'm not gonna retire right here. I'm gonna come back to defend the crown at least. You know what I'm saying? Now, if we win it again, shit, nigga, I might say, but then again, he might have wanted to come back again to defend it again and try to go on the three-peat. I don't believe nobody's ever three-peated in the NFL. Teams have went back to back. Cowboys went back to back in the 90s. Niners went back to back in the 80s, 89, 90. Or 88, 89, one of them. Patriots went back to back. in the 2000s, 03, 04. So back to back has been done, even though it hadn't been done a lot. It's been done before, but three-peat, it's never been done before in the NFL. You know what I mean? So if it has, forgive me if I'm, telling fibs. You know what I mean? I can't fuck with Freddie Gibbs. Niggas telling fibs. You know what I'm talking about? Forgive me if I just put out false information, but I don't believe that there's ever been a three-peat in the National Football League. So he probably, if he would have won it again this year, probably would have wanted to come. Plus, it would have been his number 45, his age 45 year. So he probably would have came back again to try to get the three-peat. You know what I'm saying? But you know, he just, that championship last year just it cemented his legacy right there. But like I was saying earlier in the video, yeah, I mean that fourth Super Bowl beating the Seattle Seahawks, the Legion of Boom, and they were the defending champions in the fashion that they won that game, being down 10 in the fourth quarter, Brady bringing them all the way back, then looking like they was going to lose again, you know what I mean? Because the Seahawks was driving, got the ball all the way down to the 1-2 yard line. And then Malcolm Butler with the historic interception, the most iconic defensive play probably in Super Bowl history, in NFL history. That right there put him, because it tied him with Joe. You know what I mean? So he that was his fourth, and plus he had been to more, even though he had lost, two. But when he won that one, shit, he could have retired right there. You know what I mean? But no, Grasshopper. That fifth Super Bowl against the Falcons, down 28-3, bro. That just added to his like that one right there was just like, all right, bro, you done, bro. Just retire, my nigga. Like, as a quarterback, you just won your fifth Super Bowl. So there's no quarterbacks that have more Super Bowls than you. The only other player that has 5 Super Bowls is Charles Haley. I believe it might be one more person, but as far as notable players, Charles Haley. And, Charles Haley was, for the Cowboys and the Niners, he one of the all-time greats. You know what I mean? A key, intricate part to all 5 of Super Bowls that he had a hand in winning. But, Charles Haley wasn't the quarterback. You know what I'm saying? So, 5 Super Bowl wins as a quarterback, and that 5th win, the way they did it, man, down 28-3, and it's just like Brady, bro. That was one of the most that was one of the most joyful victories that I seen as far as somebody that I was rooting for. You know what I'm saying? Because as some of you may know, some of you might not know, Tom Brady is my favorite player, was my favorite player, had been my favorite player since early 2000s, 04, 05, like when they last Super Bowl or whatnot. And very early in his career, like the his rookie year when he didn't play, obviously, and then that year when they won their first Super Bowl in 2001, it was similar to Kobe, to where I wasn't for one, that was kind of around a time where like it was right after, it was like 01, 02, I had graduated high school in 2000. So that was like right after high school for me, and like that was at a point in my life where I wasn't really. So I had kind of like stopped focusing on playing sports, and now I was full-fledged into music, and I kind of wasn't really. I always been an athlete, so I always know what's going on in sports. But it was a year or two there where I kind of like I wasn't really in tune with what was going on. With the everyday dealings of sports, just because for one, all the teams I was rooting for wasn't shit at the time. So, you got the Niners. At that time, the Niners was trash. In 2000, 2001, 2002, we were a bad team. It was after our dynasty was done. So we wasn't good. The Warriors wasn't good. at that time. They was trash, and I don't, the Giants. The Giants were good at that time. They went to the World Series in 2002. But baseball is so finicky. You could be good one year and bad the next year. But still, baseball had always been. I always liked to play baseball, but baseball had always been like my third favorite sport. So outside of that year, when the Giants went to the Super Bowl, they went to the San Francisco Giants went to the World Series and lost. Outside of that, I was always paying attention to Barry Bonds. That was towards the end of Barry Bonds' career, kind of. So I was always paying attention to Barry Bonds and what he was doing. But maybe like '01, '02, I wasn't as tapped in with the sports world. So I didn't really pay attention to early Tom Brady. But one of the things that got me to paying attention to him more was once I found out that he's from where I'm from. Not like the same city. I'm from East Palo Alto, but I mean the same area. For one, he's from the Bay Area and he's from the peninsula, you know, which is basically the West Bay. You know what I mean? Which goes from like fucking basically Palo Alto, East Palo Alto, all the way up to like South City, Daly City. You know what I mean? That's you know what I mean? Everything in between there, that's like the peninsula, Palo Alto. Palo Alto is considered South Bay, but in East Palo Alto is considered, a West Bay, but it's right by each other. So like Palo Alto, East Palo Alto, Menlo Park, Redwood City, San Carlos, San Mateo, Foster City, Hillsboro, San Bruno, Coma, Daly City, that's that's the West Bay, that's the peninsula. So once I found out that Tom Brady was from here, that automatically made me root for him. I'm like, damn, this nigga. And then he went to Sarah High School. Maybe if you like, I know one or two, homies that went to Sarah High School. So it was like, damn, he from right here. This nigga that's winning all these Super Bowls doing this great shit. He from here. So I immediately got behind him. That was like, I think I found out like 03, 04. You know what I'm saying? So once I found that out, I started to root for him. And then he became my favorite player. So that's how Tom Brady became my favorite player, is because I found out shit. That nigga grew up 10, 15 minutes away from me. You know what I'm saying? So to have somebody like that from this area, it just gave me a little sense of pride, you know what I mean? Sense of hey, I want to root for the hometown kid. Now, a lot of people from the Bay Area don't root for Tom Brady. I don't think a lot of people, unless you like actually in the sports, I don't think a lot of people had known that he's from here, because it didn't get talked about a lot until like, eventually, you know what I'm saying? But I don't think a lot of people even knew or still even know that he's from here. And he gets hated on a lot because of he went against the Oakland Raiders and the Tuck rule and all that other shit. So, but you would think outside of like Oakland Raiders fans, you know what I mean, you would think he would get more love, in this area, in the Bay Area, because he's from here. You know what I mean? But like I said, I don't think a lot of people knew that he's from here. And then and another thing about it, to go along with that, is, I'm sorry, but when you win a lot, people just don't like it. Same thing with the Golden State Warriors. Same thing with, I felt that way about Peyton Manning at a certain while. Like, man, this nigga win too much, bro. You know what I'm saying? That he wasn't winning the ultimate when he do got 2 Super Bowl rings. But I mean, as far as like the caliber of player that Peyton Manning was, you would think that he would have much more success in bigger games in the playoffs than what he had it throughout his career. Like I said, he had some success, but for the type of player that he was, you would have thought that he would have been the player to have 7 Super Bowl rings. You know what I'm saying, or some shit like that. You know what I mean? But yeah. So when you win a lot, it's just ultimately, for a while it's cool, and then if you start winning too much, the people that's not your hardcore fan base, they're gonna start to hate on you. Like, all right, now let somebody else get a chance. So then they're gonna want to see you. So that's part of it too. I mean, Tom Brady and the Patriots, they won all the time. So you become the evil empire, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? But and another thing, man, with Tom Brady, similar to Kobe Bryant, like, and both of these players, I was watching them simultaneously throughout their careers, and they did it at the same time. It's like sometimes I would see Kobe do it on a Saturday night, and the next day on Sunday, I would watch Tom Brady do it. And what I mean is, or when I say do it, I mean just like heroic comebacks or last second shots or buzzer beaters or clutch shots or clutch drives, comeback, they call Brady the comeback kid. He's the golden boy, the comeback kid, you know what I mean? Like, I've seen these men be great over and over and over and over again. A lot of professional athletes can have a moment or two because they're pros. You know what I mean? So you're going to have a moment or two. To see these guys, to see Kobe, shot after shot, time after time again, come through in the clutch, man. It's like, it's greatness that can't be explained. To see Tom Brady, perform the way he performs in the most pressurized moments and be able to do it over and over and over again, it's going to happen. It's like I said, you just got to see it, man. You got to just be there to see it. So when I was watching these guys' careers, man, I always said, man, they own. I gotta watch them. My favorite player, I gotta watch. Same way with Steph Curry right now. I know it's gonna come to an end. You know what I mean? So ain't no missing no Steph Curry games, bro. I got to watch this. I got to see this. This greatness. I'm a sports dude. That's what I like. So you know what I mean? When you great, I got to watch you. Especially if I ordain you as great and you one of my favorites. Yeah. I can't miss that. A Barry Bonds at bat, couldn't miss it. A Kobe Bryant game in his prime, couldn't miss it. Steph Curry in his prime, can't miss it. Tom Brady in his prime, can't miss it. Like, you got to watch that. You don't know what you're going to see. Michael Jordan in his prime, I can't miss that. I got to watch that, brother. You might see some shit you ain't never gonna see again. So, yeah, man, I'm a fan of greatness, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm a fan of greatness. So, to see these men do the unthinkable, do the impossible over and over again, it's just like, I love to see it. I love to watch it. The theatrics, the heroics. And that's what Tom Brady provided, for me, for NFL fans all over the world, time and time again. You know what I'm saying? I mean, this year at age 44, I mean, he just shattering all type of molds and records and all that other shit. But and he walked away at still being able to play the game. You know what I mean? Tom Brady could play at this level probably for another 2 or 3 years, maybe even more, maybe to age 50. You know what I'm saying? Like, he just could. But I think, at some point, you gotta, it comes to an end, man. You know what I'm saying? And he didn't walk away from the game with, us seeing him, kind of like how Peyton Manning was his last year or two. You know what I mean? Like, you're never going to forget the greatness of Peyton Manning and all the things that he did, but we didn't see him walk away, like that. So, yeah, man. TB12, 7 Super Bowl rings. I've seen all of his Super Bowls except for, and I see every Super Bowl he played in. I remember it for, I think except for the first two. That first one for sure, I don't believe I seen it because I don't have memory of it. And I smoke a lot of weed, but I would have memory of, like, because I remember where I was at and all that when the Rams won the Super Bowl in '99. You know what I'm saying? Uh, so I remember these things. I remember where I was at when the Niners won it in '94, and when the Cowboys won it in '95. Like, so I would have remembered that, and I don't recall. Remember, so I don't know what I was doing that day. In 2001, when the Buccaneers won it, I remember watching that game, or at least I remember that I knew what was going on. I can't remember if I was sitting down somewhere watching it, but I like the 2001 Super Bowl with the Patriots and the Rams. I remember nothing about that, so I don't even think I was watching that game. It's hard to imagine that I wasn't, but like I said, at that time, 2001, and so that would have been early 2002. Man, I was full fledged into the beginning of my rap career. You know what I'm saying? So, uh, shit, I probably was making some beats or doing some more shit like that at that time. You feel me? But I seen every one of his Super Bowls, victories and losses. Like I said, except for that first one, and that second one was 2003. It was the 2003 season, and I kind of remember that. But I know I was watching that third one for sure, that 2004 Super Bowl, because nope, you know what? The 2003 Super Bowl, so the 2003 Patriots, which the Super Bowl actually happens in 2004, right? So I was watching his second Super Bowl because their second his second Super Bowl and the second Super Bowl victory, because um in 2000 the 2003 season, which turns into 2004. I remember that because my oldest daughter was born in 2004, and she was born, or her mom went into labor the evening of that Super Bowl. Because the reason why I remember it is because I was at home watching it in the hood, and then I fell asleep on the game, and and I remember being woken up by either, like, I think by calls from my baby mom saying that my baby mama had her water had broke and it's time to go to the hospital. And another thing I remember about that is because I had a show that night. I had a performance that night at a nightclub in San Jose, in downtown San Jose. And so I had to call off the show. I had to call niggas and say, yo, I ain't gonna be able to make it. I'm gonna have a kid tonight. You know what I'm saying? So so that's what I remember about that. I remember vividly, you know what I mean, being asleep, you know what I mean, on the couch. The game was on. My phone was right here, my cell phone, and getting a call uh, from Toya's mom, like, "Come on, BJ, we got it's time to go. We gotta go to the hospital. Toya water just broke. This and that, blah blah blah." So, but she wasn't. My daughter wasn't born until the next day, which was February 2nd. 2004. But my BM went into labor that the previous night, February 1st. So that was 2004. So that's how I know that second one I was watching, because and then that next one was their third one in 2004. So I seen all the Tom Brady Super Bowls except for one, except for that first one. And to see all of those wins, but the most heartbreaking was 2007. Boy, I remember that season. I remember that season like a motherfucker, man. Um, because that was the year they got Randy Moss. And I remember because one of the first studios I used to go to was at this place in Menlo Park, California, called the Riker Center. It was a sports fitness place too. You know what I mean? But they had a recording studio up there because the man that created, owned, and started the place, the founder of it, Gary Rikus, rest in peace, Gary. He passed away last year. Um, he had a background in sports, but he also had a background in music as well. So he had a creative arts department, and they had a recording studio up there. And I was working up there. I was running the studio at that time, and but like I said, they had a gym and they had, and all that stuff up in there too. So I used to work out up there as well. So I just remember one of the TVs being on when I was working up there, and it was week one of the 2007 season. And that first game, because they were already talking about like how great this Patriots team could be because they just had added Randy Moss. And I remember they were showing highlights of, so this had to either be a Monday when I was up there, or I remember it was daytime. So if it was daytime when I was there, it couldn't have been a Sunday, or it could have been a Sunday because the game could happen in the morning. So yeah, it was either a Sunday or a Monday when I was there, and they were either showing the highlights from the day before or the highlights from earlier in that day. You know what I mean? And maybe I was there, you know, in the afternoon or something. But I just remember them showing it was on ESPN. The TV was on ESPN in the gym, and they was showing the highlights, and they was just talking like, and I forget who they played that first game, but but whoever it was, they blew them the fuck out. And from that point on, that week one, they proceeded to just fucking thrash the NFL, bro. They went undefeated. Okay. Throughout the regular season, the first time anybody had went 16-0, because the Miami Dolphins in the 70s had an undefeated season where they went all the way the whole year and even won the Super Bowl, went undefeated. But at that time, it wasn't. It was only 14 regular season games. It wasn't 16. So you kind of like uh playing with words or whatever, but still, it was, no one had ever went 16-0 in a regular season, because obviously the Miami Dolphins couldn't go 16-0 because there was only 14 regular season games played at that time. So they went 16-0, and got to the Super Bowl. And I mean, that year they was head and shoulders above everybody else. As the season went along, towards the end of the year, the game started to get a little closer, and what I mean, and stuff like that. But that first 10 to 12 weeks, man, of the season, they was just blowing motherfuckers out left and right. And I just remember seeing the highlights of the game and just being like, wow, bro. Like, because what they had did that, just in that first game was just like, what I mean? Like some video game numbers type of shit. You know what I'm saying? And so that was just confirmation that, like, after Randy Moss had got there, that like, wow, these niggas is finna rip through the fucking season this year. Like, this shit is finna be like, you know what I'm saying? Like, everybody knew it from after that first game. It was a wrap. You know what I'm saying? So for them to get all the way to the Super Bowl and lose the game how they lost, I remember where I was at watching. I was with my homie Q. up the street from the Rikers Center, you know what I mean, at his house in Redwood City. We was watching the game. That was one of the most, because at this time Tom Brady was my favorite player, so it's like that was I wanted him to get that, man. Like that was like similar to the Warriors in 2016 losing. You know what I mean? After the 73-9 year, like them two losses is probably two of my them is probably my two worst losses that I ever seen, or where I was rooting for somebody and lost. 2016 Warriors and the 2007 Patriots. 49ers always been my team, but Tom Brady was my favorite player, so obviously I'm rooting for Tom Brady. You know what I'm saying? I've said this in many videos. Y'all should know this by now. But yeah, but them losses, man, them losses hurt. You know what I'm saying? And I feel them when they say the losses hurt more than you rejoice for the wins. You know what I'm saying? Like the losses, the Super Bowl losses, or the finals losses or whatever, they hurt more than how happy you are when you win. You know what I'm saying? When you happy as fuck when you win. You know what I'm saying? But when you lose, it seems like you hurt more than how happy you are when you win. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, bro. TB12. I'm definitely gonna miss watching that man play every Sunday. I knew it was coming sooner or later. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I'm gonna miss that. I'm gonna miss watching him play. And so Lamar Jackson has been my second favorite player in the NFL for a few years now, behind Tom Brady. So now that Brady is retired, logically in my head, Lamar Jackson should move up to number one for me now. However, hey, chip. Uh-oh. However, um, hopefully my sound is on and y'all hear me. But however, it's something about this Joe Burrow guy. You know what I'm saying? So to me, my prediction this year was or once, late in the season, or late in the playoffs, once we knew what was going on, my prediction was Niners Bengals. You know what I'm saying? That's what I wanted to see. You know what I mean? Once we got down to the final four, that's what I wanted to see. Niners Bengals. You know what I mean? And almost got it. But and Joe Burrow, I've been keeping my and the Bengals and Jamar Chase. I've been keeping my eye on them since about like the middle of the season. You know what I'm saying? I kind of been looking out and like, man, they kind of. And then my team, the Niners, we beat them towards the end of the year. That was one of the victories that helped us. We needed. You know what I'm saying? But Joe Burrow, to me, the reason why I think he's going to be my favorite player going forward is because he ain't from where I'm from or nothing, no shit like that. But he reminds me a lot of Tom Brady / Joe Montana, like the new Joe Montana or the new Tom Brady. You know what I'm saying? I know motherfuckers. Ain't no. There's never been another Joe Montana. There's never been another Tom Brady. Joe Burrow is the first Joe Burrow. However, you know how you had Joe Montana, and then for me, the next iteration of a Joe Montana type quarterback was Tom Brady when he came through and became a better version of Joe Montana. And now I look at it like Joe Burrow is the third iteration of that. He's he just when I watch him, he just remind me of that. Cool, calm, collective, you know what I mean? It's like Joey Cool, just like Joe Montana. You know what I'm saying? Like he got sacked 9 times against the Tennessee Titans, I believe, in their first playoff game. Didn't turn the ball over, not didn't fumble none of the sacks. He got sacked 9 times. Some 50 Cent shit, nigga. They hit that man up 9 times. He didn't get scared. He didn't start, getting jittery in the pocket and like he stayed calm. He done his thing, man. And he just remind me of Joe Montana or Tom Brady. Clutched in a bitch, big throws, swag out the motherfucking world. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about. That's what I really like about him. You know what I mean? He did it's like, hold on, this nigga ain't like he got some black in him or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, but man, so and Lamar Jackson, that's my nigga. Like I fuck with Action Jackson. You know what I'm saying? The boy bad, dynamic to the bitch. But it's something about being able to throw that motherfucking rock, man. You know what I'm saying? And Lamar Jackson has more than proven that he's capable of. He can stand in there and throw that rock. But he's still not one of the, there's still a few quarterbacks that if you just talking about straight up, just pocket passers, Lamar Jackson has proven that he can do it, but there's still quarterbacks that you would take above him, before him, if you just talking about straight just drop back and pass. That's all I'm saying. And I believe Joe Burrow is one of those. And so Joe Burrow, man, I'm rooting for him and the Bengals in this Super Bowl. One reason because, for one, I already wanted to see them there. You know what I mean? But yeah, the motherfucking Rams put out my Niners, my favorite team, and they put out my favorite player and sent him in retirement in Tom Brady, who this motherfucking who this episode is about. So yeah, I need to see them go down. You know what I'm saying? I'm not rooting for the Rams. You know what I'm saying? More power to them. If they pull it out and win, I wouldn't be surprised. But I want to see Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals do something special. You know what I mean? And if they pull this off, I'm telling you right now, man, look out for the Cincinnati Bengals and what they could possibly become. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to say the D word, dynasty, because you know what I mean? Like you can't even really talk about that until you at least win 2 championships in 3 years. And then you could at least start, then that don't even mean you a dynasty, but at least you could start talking, you can start having the talks. 3 and 4 makes you a dynasty. You know what I mean? Or 3 and 5 makes you a dynasty too. You know what I mean? But 2 and 3, it's kind of like, okay, if you win a Super Bowl or you win a championship and then you win another one and then you don't win no more, was that a dynasty? You know what I mean? Or was you just a really good team for, a short period of time? Or, the same way if or if you win a championship and then you don't win a championship and then you win it again that next year, is that a dynasty? Now, if you win another one after that, yeah. But 2 and 3 does get you to where you can start talking about it. You can say, hey, is this going to be you know what I mean? But I don't want to say that. But I'm saying, like, when you think about Joe Montana and the San Francisco 49ers, when you think about Tom Brady and the New England Patriots, these were teams that once they got this Pantheon quarterback, they went from being extremely bad teams to dynasties. Now, I know the Patriots went to the Super Bowl in 96, you know what I'm saying? A few years before Tom Brady got there, you know, but basically, the 2 or 3 years before Tom Brady got there, they were a bad team. So that's essentially what I'm saying. Same thing with um, Joe Montana and the San Francisco 49ers. You know what I mean? Essentially, I think they were even bad his first year, if I'm not mistaken. Um, but yeah, man. So I just look at Joe Burrow, you know, I see some Brady Montana in that. I just do. And what him and Jamar Chase got going on, like I said, man, it's looking real Montana to Rice-ish. It's looking real Brady to Moss-ish. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. So I'm jumping on that bandwagon right now. Right motherfucking now. Win or lose. You know what I mean? Win or lose on Sunday in the Super Bowl. I'm jumping on that damn bandwagon right now. You feel me? As far as Not as far as the Bengals being my team, San Francisco 49ers are my team, but as far as, well, the Bengals is my team for the next week. Yeah, for sure. You know what I'm saying? But as far as uh 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 Joe Burrow being my favorite player, yeah. So Joe Burrow, my favorite player. Lamar Jackson still number 2 though. It's gonna be fun to see them go back and forth for the next few years. However, you know what I mean? Because they in the same division. But yeah, man. So I say that to say about Joe Burrow and how that relates to Brady in this episode is, to me, Joe Burrow is the next Brady. That's how I know it's kind of early to say that, but you know what I mean. That's just how I'm looking at it. He's the next Brady or the next Montana. It's like that same tree. You know what I mean? Montana, Brady, Burrow. You know what I mean? He just remind me of those two. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see what happens going forward, man. But yeah, you know what I mean. You know, congrats to Tom Brady. I'm gonna say big bro. You know what I mean? He don't know he my big bro, but that's big bro. You know what I mean? Congrats, big bro, Tom Brady, on like I said, a historic career, man. Just I don't think we ever gonna see somebody win 7 Super Bowls again. You know what I mean? They was trying to put Patrick Mahomes in that category. And that's all I was saying when I was saying all the shit I was saying a year, for the past year or 2 years. Like, it's too early, bro. It's too early. And I know motherfuckers, oh, well, you just said Joe Burrow. I'm saying that I'm not already putting him there. I'm saying he reminds me of a Tom Brady or a Joe Montana. I'm not putting him already on their level as far as what they've accomplished. You know what I mean? He's still got to go out and play the games. But as far as what I see in the talent and what he can be, yeah. What y'all was doing with Patrick Mahomes after that first year or two, y'all was already saying he was one of the greatest of all time. And it's like, bro, y'all already putting him like on the same level as like Joe Montana and shit. And like, bro, nah. He got to do it over and over and over and over again. You know what I mean? To get there. So, um, Brady, that man done his thing, bro. We never gonna see nothing like this again. I don't think, at least in our lifetime, depending on how long the world goes on for another 2,000 years, then possibly, you know what I mean? Possibly we may see, at some point within the next 2,000 years, you may have another dynasty like the New England Patriots, but I don't see it happening in our lifetime. then again, nothing surprises me because things that happen, a lot of things that happen, we don't see them, we don't see it happening, but it happens. But just from all the success that they've had, man, and the sustained excellence over like a 20-year span, I just don't see that happening again like that, and not in our lifetime. Like I said, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, Tom Brady is the GOAT. To me, he's the greatest football player ever. And my first initial sport is basketball, and I did play some football, so that'd be. But so I'm like, oh, you a basketball nigga? So, no, I'm both. I'm a basketball and a football nigga. You understand me? So, but I say that to say because a lot of they say, okay, well, if you talk about quarterbacks, yeah, they'll give them the go. But if you talk about football player, they want to go to Lawrence Taylor and Jim Brown and Walter Payton and all that other shit, which is I'm not, of course, nigga, what? Lawrence Taylor, you know what I mean? But bro, come on, man. Like you that's semantics and all that. You know what I'm saying? So because Tom Brady a quarterback, he ain't considered a football player. Like, come on, man, stop that. You know what I'm saying? So, but like I said, opinion is whatever. But to me, it's unquestioned the he's the greatest football player ever, man. You know what I mean? Of course, he's the GOAT quarterback, but no, he's the GOAT football player. You know what I'm saying? And that's just all that need to be said about that. He made Bill Belichick more than Bill Belichick made him. Yeah, Bill Belichick. Yeah, I mean, they both made each other and helped each other. You know what I'm saying? But as far as like the players always should get more credit. It's just because they on the field. I mean, it just is what it is. Just by that alone, the coach can never get more credit than the players. I'm sorry, they just can't. You know what I'm saying? They can get a lot. They can get maybe as equal, as equal to. You know what I mean? There's some situations where maybe some years you can I can give you, okay, maybe you could say 50-50, but the coach shouldn't is never get more than players, even if it's 51-49. Never. Because the players are actually out there on the field or on the court actually, making it happen. You know what I'm saying? A coach can only do so much, prepare you and come up with a game plan and all that type of shit. But the players actually got to play the game. So, yeah, man. And like I said, to me, he proved that anyway when he went to Tampa Bay. Look at what happened to the team that he went to that didn't do shit the year before. They won a Super Bowl the year he got there. Look at what happened to the team that he left. They didn't even make the playoffs. So that just tell you right there, bro. Like, I mean, the facts is right there in front of your face. You know what I'm saying? So TB12, man. It ain't really too much else I can say about it. You know what I'm saying? Um, Definitely gonna miss him, and all of the just watching him play and just coming back, and even the last game he played, it was he almost did it to him. You know what I mean? He almost did it to him, but you know what I mean. And that's why I think that's a cool game to retire on and stuff like that. But yeah, man, TB12, Snax on Sports. Ain't really else shit I can say. Tom Brady to go. Y'all know that. I'll be back with another one.